What if I told you there is a high-yielding dividend ETF that has a consistent history of paying dividends every single month over many, many years? On top of that, this dividend ETF also has outperformed and or has performed on par with the S&P 500 in multiple time frames. The dividend ETF that I'm talking about is BDJ, known as BlackRock Enhanced Equity Dividend Trust. This ETF is managed by BlackRock, which is one of the world's largest asset management firms. I know you've all heard of it. And it aims to provide investors with a high level of current income along with potential for capital appreciation. The investment strategy for the fund is as follows. The investment strategy for BDJ is to invest primarily in a diversified portfolio of dividend-paying stocks. The fund aims to generate income by investing in companies with a history of paying and increasing dividends. The fund uses a proprietary option strategy to enhance the income from its portfolio. The fund's option strategy involves selling call options on some of the stocks in the portfolio. By selling call options, the fund generates additional income, which can be used to boost the overall dividend payout to the investors. The option strategy also helps manage risk by limiting the potential losses from any single stock in the portfolio. The fund has also managed to beat the S&P 500 index over the past 12 months and still paid out a higher yield. The fund sector holdings are quite a bit different than the S&P 500, which could give it an advantage in certain market conditions. The fund did see its assets decline in the first half of 2022, but it still managed to cover the distribution and the dividends still got paid every month. The fund right now might be a little bit on the expensive side, but let's dig more into it. So some key facts on the fund. Currently, the net assets of BDJ are right around $1.663 billion, so it's a decent sized fund. The fund was launched August 31st of 2005, so it does have a decent track record. Now the premium discount is 1.01%, so it might not be at the cheapest price right now, and I currently own around 2,000 shares of BDJ across my multiple portfolios. The distribution rate or the dividend yield is right around 7.49%, and of course it's going to change depending on what the ETF's price is at. One of my favorite aspects of this fund is how long it's been able to pay the distribution on time to investors. If you look at this chart and zoom out, it's not only paid out the monthly distribution, but also at the end of the year multiple times over the past years that I've actually owned this ETF. I even got paid a distribution bonus, which I am not complaining about. Another great aspect of this fund is the tax treatment. If you look at my personal statement from BDJ from last year, this is from 2022, most of the dividends were classified as long-term capital gain or qualified dividends. Sometimes short-term capital gains were also included, but the majority of the fund is taxed pretty nicely. Maybe the most important aspect is to look at the overall return. The total return for BDJ versus S&P 500 over the last year, BDJ is up 5.77%, and this is total return, so price return along with dividends paid. S&P 500 over the last year, down 7.42%. So if you compare BDJ to the S&P 500 over the last year time frame, BDJ is absolutely crushing it. Now, if you go 3 years, let's say, 3 years, that's a decent amount of time to look at. The 3-year total return for BDJ is 43.27%, which is incredible. S&P 500 also very good at 40.33%. But we still have a winner. BDJ beats the S&P 500 in the 3-year time frame. And obviously throughout the years, there's been times where BDJ has beat the S&P 500 as far as total return and vice versa. But one thing's for certain, you're not really going to find that many high-yielding dividend funds, in my experience, that are going to be on par and or beating the S&P 500. The reason for this is that a lot of these higher-yielding dividend funds are built for people that are looking for income. Many investors are not buying these funds in order to see a massive total return over the long term. If you look at other income funds like Q-Yield, for example, it pays a massive distribution, but the total return just isn't necessarily there. Another aspect of this fund that you should definitely know about are the top 10 holdings. The top 10 holdings are as follow: BlackRock Liquidity T Fund, we have Wells Fargo, BP, Citigroup, Medtronic, Enterprise Properties. Now, out of the top 10 holdings, would I say that these are the top companies in the entire stock market? Not necessarily, but this fund does aim for a certain strategy, and it's been able to fulfill the strategy pretty well so far. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to please drop a like in the video and subscribe for more. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.